partners who, like, when we worked on the school project and things like that. Here's the thing. Africa is definitely the prime place for investment. I'm going to repeat that. Africa is the prime place for investment. And it's not because I just say so. Listen, I did my research years ago. Anyone who knows me knows that a major part of the work that I do, almost 75%, is backed up on my mission and goal in Africa as not just a philanthropist or a speaker or a coach, someone who's passionate about socio-economic development, but also as an entrepreneur. Here's what happened. Like in 2021, the African Development Bank said that the GDP will rebound with a 3.4%, but that's not all. Jim O'Neill, former Goldman Sachs economist, said that Africa represents the last significant untapped emerging market in the world. Did you hear what I said? The last significant untapped emerging market in the world. And you're like, well, why? Why do you say that? Everyone knows about all the natural resources that are in abundance in Africa, like oil, minerals, arable space, land. Listen, I'm wild about the land. And so not just that, here's the other resource. And this is why when I met David in 2020, I immediately connected with his vision. And to sit here on this platform today, as we are talking about the African Investment Summit that is going to take place in Las Vegas, is no surprise. He was going to do this. He was just going to do it. And so he's here with the rest of us, with you, Martin, and all of this. But I remember having those conversations when David's vision was what he had, and he had the faith to push, right? He knew something that McKinsey said. Africa's abundance is also the youthful demographic that's there. This is what DDLF represents. My first project, global project of working with youth, was initiated with the DDLF platform because of the very rich resource of the youthful population, which is a medium age of about 19 years old. And you're like, what does that have to do with anything, Dr. Alisa? Well, as a global workforce strategist, when you say that we have youth to invest in, I connect socioeconomic growth if we invest correct. So you're not just investing in minerals and oils and land. When we talk investing, we're talking about investing into that youthful demographic. Why? As Aliko said, one of Africa's most prominent entrepreneurs, he said that the young population is an asset for the continent's future, because we can invest in minerals, but who's going to cultivate? Who is going to grow everything? It's going to be humans. And let's face it, I'm not so old, but I'm not so young. I need young people with the same vision or even better vision to invest in. And so that's what DDLF started off with. Very brilliant. And I joined that. Okay. The other thing is the infrastructural development. In Africa's infrastructure, it's the biggest thing on the continent. A lot of people know that celebrities are going back to Africa. They're not just going to the motherland because it's cute and it's beautiful. They're actually investing their money for later return. When they can't sing and dance and shoot movies anymore, they know that the property and the land that's there in Africa is something that's going to bring them massive return. The African Development Bank said that Africa requires substantial infrastructure investment to boost the economic growth. Why don't you want to be a part of that? Listen, one thing I've learned is that there's two different types of problem when it comes to money. Rich people have money problems, and people who are poor and sometimes middle income have money problems too. The difference is the middle income and the poor class, we are hustling to try to find money. That group of people, they're looking to how do I get more money? How do I get more money? Rich people, I know, I'm speaking to you, investors that are watching us. Your problem is, where do I invest my money? So I'm going to answer the question for both parties right now. is the people, the investors, and the rich people who have money who are listening to us. And if you know a rich person, just share this video with them. Is you can invest your money in Africa. You can invest in Africa, and I guarantee you will get returns. There are rich people saying, listen, I want to invest, but I want to make sure people will manage the money, the financial resource I'm going to put to ensure that it reaches the right people. The right people are the young people. Platforms like DDF and hundreds of others that I've even interacted with will ensure that we bring the natural resource of youth and individuals who are in lower socioeconomic circumstances. So the rich money is now being used and it will solve both problems. Again, the next thing, emerging technology hubs. African countries are becoming technology hubs. I was just talking to one of my friends about outsourcing my technological needs, my designing needs to Africa. And don't nobody get mad at me. I'm saying the truth. Some of the best productions I've seen come out in the world has come from African youth and Africans with very limited resources. They don't even have all the software that I have. So we want to look at putting startup hubs. I've just become an international advisor also with the Ugambi Leadership Center in Nigeria, where the African youth is being invested in from that platform, because these young men and women are developing and breaking the code of how electricity, listen, they're inventors. So if you have your money and you need to figure out a way to invest, it's to invest in these individuals on the African continent. Y'all know I can go on and on and on about reasons to invest. Okay, we'll catch me later. But the key point I want us to think about as you hear me speak today, and you can go fact check everything I just said, is you don't even have to be a millionaire. You don't even have to be a middle income, a high middle income right now. If you're listening to me, I'm here in the United States. When I started my journey of investing in Africa, and Martin, he will tell you a million ways. So if you're wondering, you could connect with Martin. I'm throwing him on the bus to do extra work because he already got to deal with David and I and the rest of us. But
and
he
I'm
exactly
just,
how to do it.
It bounces off of me and goes right to LVS Africa. So
there you go. And just $5, $10, I tell individuals, the school that I was able to work with to build in Ghana, in Yiji, Ghana, it didn't even cost me a full 5,000. Okay. So investing in Africa, it's gonna cost us money, but you don't have to be a millionaire, or you're just listening to us and you're like, okay, I got an extra 1,000, I got 500. You can invest in Africa. Come to Las Vegas. Let's tell you how.
Absolutely. I mean, we have had investments